Hello and welcome. We are joined by Mr. Prashant Vasisht, Senior Vice President and Co-Group Head, ICRA Limited. Prashant, thank you very much for joining us on Republic TV.
Thank you for having me, Pranav.
Prashant, the Middle East is on a boil. So to say, Israel-Iran tensions are brewing, and we are staring at instability in the region. And one of the most important elements, or one of the most important commodities that gets affected as a result of any boil in Middle East is oil. I want to ask you, where is this all going? As an analyst, how do you look at this?
Pranav, if we look at the global supply, about 20 million tons of crude oil and condensate as well as petroleum products are shipped through the Strait of Hormuz by the oil-producing nations such as Saudi Arabia, Iraq, and so on. Now, in case these tensions intensify, a significant part of this would be at risk because there's very little, only about 6 million barrels per day of these that can be redirected to other ports. So 20 million barrels contribute is roughly 20% of the global liquids consumption. So that could be a huge impact on the demand or supply of these products.
Okay. Could you tell me how does India stand to get impacted if one, out of the conflict that is going on, and second, if Iran really decides to block Gulf of Hormuz?
Yeah, so India imports about 45 to 50% of its oil, crude oil currently from the Strait of Hormuz, and about 55% of its natural gas as well, LNG. In case there is any blockage or supplies are disrupted, then that is the proportion. Almost half of our energy supplies could be at risk, and we would have to look for alternate sources such as Russia or Nigeria.
Okay. Could you give us some historic instances when such a thing happened and our supplies were affected, and then what exactly did we do?
Any disruption per se of late or for the past 10-15 years. There was a time in 2008 when oil prices touched $140 per barrel, and that was on account of some tensions, but there was no blockage per se. So we've not had such an instance in the past, at least for the past 20 years.
Okay. Prashant, for the understanding of a common consumer, I want to ask you, when I'm looking at the Middle East and I'm seeing that there's a war going on and I'm just hearing that commodity prices are going up, oil prices are going up, how does the price rise in oil affect me as a common citizen? Could you explain that to our viewers?
Yeah, certainly. So, a very direct impact would be in terms of the prices of auto fuels, that is diesel as well as petrol. As you know, 80% of our goods are transported on diesel. So there could be a ripple effect in terms of in case these prices go up, the pump prices of auto fuels go up, there could be a ripple effect on the other commodities due to higher freight costs, etc. But the other impact could also be due to the derivatives that we use that is so many chemicals, etc., which use crude ultimately or crude derived products as an input. For example, a host of your chemicals, specialty chemicals, petrochemicals, etc., could also become more pricey. Yeah.
Okay, and how do you think this can be navigated? The price rise that is like, my first question would be, do you see that kind of a price rise coming in auto fuel as well as in the other allied or derived fields that you mentioned, or components that you mentioned, or products that you mentioned? And second, how do you think the government or the policy makers need to navigate it?
We'll have to see what is the sustained price level for crude. Generally, in the past, when the crude prices have shot up, it has been these have not sustained at above 90 levels for long because inflation kicks in and there is demand destruction. However, in case of a sustained blockage of Strait of Hormuz or and prices staying at those high levels for long, then probably the oil companies may have to increase prices due to and would have to take price increases for the auto fuels. Now, in case that happens, then obviously it would hit the consumers. Generally, for a sustained period would mean at least 2 to 3 months beyond that level. But generally, prices have not sustained at above 90, 95 for such a long time in the past, at least in the past few years.
Okay. But as an industry observer, the way the current geopolitical situation is evolving, do you think there is a likelihood of such a price rise happening? Do you already think that oil is already at a higher level, or is it likely to go up further?
So see, if you recollect, prices dropped from about 77 at the end of March, at the closing day of March, to about 60, 65, somewhere in that range, due to twin effects of, the tariffs and retaliatory tariffs by China, and second was the impact of increasing production announced by OPEC plus. Now, in case, since then, since the start of these hostilities, we've seen the prices have risen from 65 to about 75 currently. At these prices, pump prices are comfortable, but in case, and the marketing margins are somewhat healthy for the oil marketing companies, but in case these rise significantly, then probably beyond 1995, probably then the government or the oil marketing companies could reassess their price, the retail prices of auto fuels.
Okay. What are some of the other geographical locations or countries that India can rely upon in times in case it really hits the ceiling?
Russia is a huge, we are importing a significant, almost 40% of our crude requirement from Russia currently. And besides this, there are many other countries like US is an exporter, Brazil is an exporter, Guyana is an exporter, similarly Angola and Nigeria and Africa.
Prashant, one significant thing that is there is an escalation that is visible right now. Do you really see that oil prices may rise further in the coming months?
See, it's a developing situation. It is very how the conflict pans out, and if does it spread to other oil-producing nations? Does Iran take this step of actually blocking a Strait of Hormuz? All these are situations that one cannot predict as of now. And some of the scenarios of high oil price would be contingent upon one of these or many of these playing out. So it's difficult to predict as of now.
All right, all right. Perfect. Thank you very much, Prashant. It was lovely talking to you. We just wanted a basic analysis of how this conflict affects oil prices, and you've given us a fantastic understanding of that. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Thanks.